got a bit of a groove there. Maybe if this is short enough and it goes, instead of making a little mushroom end, I think I'll just leave it straight so that I can have it inset, and it'll be set back inside there. So that it looks more like a tube and not a light. All right, I'll see if I can push it right inside. Well, probably would have been better off if I had put a light in there to attach to it, but I simply forgot. So I'll still put it in there anyway. Okay, well, I'm not going to worry about it too much. I need to move on. How's it going out there, shipheads? Welcome back to Trek Mods, my own personal ship show on YouTube, and welcome back to the Excelsior refit and upgrades build. This is part 23. We're seeing the finish line here. Gonna attempt to maybe get the bottom part of the saucer down, attached in this one. Got a little bit to do on these nacelles still. I'm gonna make the little lenses to go over these crystals and the position markers. Take a look at the deflector here. I've been thinking about it, and I think I'll end up using my little blue cover that I made for it. Just kind of cuts that glare down a little, gives it some depth. It doesn't obscure any of the detail inside here. You still see all those little lines. And if I turn my exposure down a little, you can see how I've drilled in there, and I put a little dab of paint to try to give it a bit more texture inside there. So I realize it looks blue on camera, but that's just the way the camera portrays it. It's a white light, but it'll be blue. Okay, let's get cracking. Let's get making some tiny little pieces and making this into a Starship. So I made, let's see if I can get this out. I made this little lens. So I basically did the same thing with this little lens as you do with the fiber optic filament. This is 3D pen printing, 3D pen clear filament. So I basically just used it as the fiber optic filament. Made myself a little lens to go over the crystal here. So I need to make another one for the other one, the other nacelle. But I want to put this aside because I'm going to be repainting all this. And I don't want this painted. What I'll do is I'll just put a scrap piece of the filament in there to block it off. And I'll paint over that, and then I'll just switch them out. Now I have to find it. Okay, well, looks like I gotta make two of them because I was holding it with the tweezers and talking away there, and it just flicked away and it's gone. And it's so tiny, there's no chance of me finding it. I'm not gonna spend the time. Got my little thing here of pieces, so I'm gonna try to make it and get it in there right away before it's lost. So I just got right here the clear filament for the 3D pen I confiscated from my kid. So you're basically doing the same thing as you're doing with the fiber optic. Just gonna cut a tiny piece off. Take the lighter here. I like to file this flat so that it melts more evenly. Almost there. I want it to swell a little bit. Okay, so I got what I want. Now this needs to be quite short. My light is inside there. There's not a lot of room. Okay, there's one. Here we go again. Their little dome. It just fits in right like that. Okay, so as I said, I don't want to keep it in there. These are getting painted. I don't want to lose it. Okay, so next thing I need the two for the position lights at the end of the nacelles. So I'm going to do the same thing I just did for that one. Only got the small little fiber optic piece here. Just get rid of this ratty part. Pray that it didn't end up in my coffee. Okay, I'm just using this little alligator clip here so I can clip this off and not lose that. I'll dip one in green and the other in red when they go in there. I actually already made the green one, but these are so small, I lost it. Alright, so those are in my little parts container there. Another thing I haven't dealt with yet is the bridge module. I'll have a little bit. Got some holes in there for windows. Not easy. This thing's small. This thing's really small, so I can't really get as many holes in there as I want to. I'm gonna attempt some sort of little window back here. I don't know how great it's gonna be, but I'm gonna make a couple holes. I want a little bit of light coming through there. Just taking a look at some of the reference photos, and that's a small little version of the officer's lounge. So I want that to light up. Okie dokie. Okay, so I'm gonna need a hole right through there. Get this tape off. Okay, make a hole in the middle. Okay, that's gonna just smack right on there. Alright, I got a fresh glue tube. So it's gonna sit right on here. I'm just gonna put just a little bit along this edge. Like so. We got a saucer. It's beginning to look a lot like a starship. Got the bridge. Got the saucer. Except I tricked you. Don't have it on there yet. Just got temporary light in there for now. Just wanted to see how it was going to look. Have the bottom of the saucer glued down. I'm going to put some lights in there. I'm going to put my frosty dome in there. Going to do some work on this little bridge module. Get a couple lights in there. See what I can do, put some paint on it. But before I do any of that, I want to complete the nacelles, get those closed up. Looks like one of them looks a little different than the other one because I had painted the inside of this one blue and then I ended up scraping it all away because I like the way it looks better as a clear, but this one is still smooth and clear, so I need to scuff this up so it diffuses a little better, like this one. Can't really see the individual dots in there. And on this one you can. So we're going to get that fixed up. Let's see where we go. You know, I just realized that I can't do that because it's all wired up. If I start sanding at it, I'm probably better off to glue it in place and then sand it. I guess I should have did that before I put everything together. This needs a little shrinky tube. There. It's a little bigger than it needs to be, so I gotta squish it. Go, that should be fine. So I'm not worried about seeing these wires inside. I'm gonna make a little cover on the front part from the Boussard collector down to where the chiller grill starts. I'm gonna put a piece of plastic over that, a little flat piece. Maybe I'll put a couple panel line details in it or something like that. It's gonna be covered. And for the back, I think I'll probably just paint it black, lock it off. The original Excelsior, this whole thing is black, nothing is lit at all. I find that boring. I like lights. If I ever get good at this, these lights will be flashing. Not these ones, but future models. Future models, I'll get into the flashing lights and the controls. So I'm just trying to decide how I'm going to do this. I think my best course of action is to glue it into place. Or I could just cut the wires, because I'd like to have these covered anyways. Don't want them interfering. It can't reach the other wire. Once it's closed up, nothing will happen. But maybe I can do that. I'm going to clip the wires, and then I'm going to resolder it together. I don't need this much in between anyways. Clip, clip. Now I can sand this safely. Get my little guitar block here. Handy little thing to have around. A lot of the luthier tools are useful for this. A lot of small tools, a lot of hand tools, files and chisels and whatnot. So I'd prefer to be sanding this on the inside. But I think that's out of the question. Because I don't want to get rid of these ridges. I won't really be able to get in between the ridges. If I scrape this in between all the ridges, that'll rough it up a little. Betcha I wasn't even in frame. Probably not. I do that a lot. Get that paint out of there. So I'm having a little problem here where this end cap meets up with the top piece that I made, it kind of doesn't line up perfectly with the ridge lines on the clear piece, just for this top here. So I might end up filling it in, or at least painting it over just up to that line, so I can get a nice smooth line here. Otherwise, it's going to end up with a wonky seam. So I think I gotta skip the first ridge. Yeah. Let's see, I got this weird file. Suppose that could be useful. That's doing pretty good. This is getting right in there. Nice and smooth. Got a nice smooth line there now. I have to put a little more putty filling inside there to build it out to the rest of it, but it looks like we're good to go. And you can see that's a lot more frosty. She's frosty looking. Nice little frost on there. Just trying to smooth out the seam here. Maybe I'll put a little translucent red on this. The light in there is supposed to be red, but it looks more orange, which I'm fine with. I don't know if I paint this, there might be a thicker, might be a little thicker where this seam is. Maybe I'll just leave it. I can't ever decide on anything. I need a thin file. Very, very thin. Not bad, I almost got that hidden. Still a lot of scuffing to do on this side. Alright, let's get the Vallejo crapola here. One more attempt to get a nice seam. Already tried this a couple times. Some of this. Okay, well, I'm gonna have to give that time to dry. I can try to address this little bit of weird paint here, where the paint kind of crackled up a little bit. Let's see if I can get rid of that. Can't really spray paint things with a can in my apartment. This white's the primer from a spray can, so I have to go downstairs to the parking garage late at night when no one's around, spray paint things when I get a chance. Sometimes I think it's a little damp down there, and occasionally my paint crackles like that, and I think it's just because it's damp. Okay, I got a bunch of schmoo in there I'll have to scrape out. But, okay, so that one's not bad. Got rid of that ugly spot. Oh yeah, let's bring the old girl back in here. Spin her around. Check out this side. I don't have any problem with the clear chiller grill, but there is a little cracking of the paint here and there, and I'll have to fix that up. I'll try and do it on the, I don't have to sand this one, so any puttying I can do, I can do it while it's glued down. So, I'm gonna try and stuff this in. Okay, I'm just gonna go for it. Put the glue on this part. Probably not ready to glue down yet. I'm sure there's something I forgot to do. This model's for me anyways. I'm not at the level yet where I'm making models for customers that want, you know, either they might want screen accuracy builds or custom models to their specifications with everything perfectly. This is only my 4th model, so I'm learning every time. Watch the guys on YouTube that know what they're doing, like Jordan at Aligning the Stars, Andrew at Canadian Starships. It's nice to watch their live streams. They let me in on the chat and I can ask questions. And nice group of guys, really welcoming. So if you like watching this stuff by people who know what they're doing, check out Andrew. His channel is called Canadian Starships. Did it work? Is it there? Can you see it? All right. And I mentioned Jordan before at Aligning the Stars. Nice bunch of guys. Get this wire in there. So yeah, they're happy to answer any questions I had. Give me advice on what I'm doing here. I'm sure they don't really have time to watch this stuff so that they can tell me directly what I'm doing wrong. But every time I do watch, I learn something from those guys. So I want to make sure it's all going together here. Need a bit more glue. Squish it down in there. Might have to put a clip on that. Okay. I'll give that a few moments and I'll be back. Okay, I gotta wait for the putty to dry on that nacelle. So just got a brush here. That's some of my clear glue. Just run it up this window. Should be good enough. Let's check it out. Looks like they're all filled. Maybe not that one. Dab there. Okay. Yeah, those are all filled in. Okay, let me just move this out of the way a bit. Got some translucent yellow paint here. I'm going to use to paint the bottom of that clear dome that I made for the sensor dome. Okay, so it's the same yellow that I used here on the NX01 refit. So I like that to light up. I know it doesn't light up on the NX01, but mine does. There's my deflector dish, made out of the spinny motor housing from the Bussard collector part of the Enterprise kit, which I didn't use on that kit because that's a refit and the nacelles got altered. So I'm going to paint this little dome that color. And I'm going to do it just by dropping some paint in there. Just let it coat the inside. Be enough. Just press that down so any extra gets sucked into there. That's pretty good. And then we're left with this little clear spot which shows up nicely with the light behind it. That adds a little extra detail. I'm just going to put that aside to dry. Place where I won't lose it. Okay, moving on. I'm going to start lighting the top of the saucer here. Oh, I got this big square hole. I got to do something about that. Hold on 1 second. Yeah, somebody commented on one of my previous videos that this the one where I made the impulse engines. Said this square spot is begging for some kind of greebly or a torpedo launcher, something like that. I don't know if they stick a torpedo launcher right directly in between the impulse reactors, but right, 4 engines, so 2 impulse reactors, 1 on each side. I'll figure something out though. Put something there. I've seen on the new Enterprise, Captain Pike's Enterprise, that one has like some kind of lighted ring in there. I assumed it was a docking port or something like that. I tried to add it to my model of that ship. I just search through my little bits and baubles and see what I can find. That's way too big. Okay, well, I found this clear piece of plastic or whatever it is. It's just about the exact right size to fit in there and fill that square. Look at that, right in there. Carries light really nicely. I think I can do something with this. Got a nice bevel to it on that end. Can have it coming through, something like that. There's barely any light down there. It's catching the light reflecting off of my saucer. So that'll be cool. I can do something with this. Get it right in here. Looks like you're looking down a corridor. That's kind of cool. That would be a good way to do little rooms with a solid piece like that inside there. And you can stick your little micro slides on the surfaces. So if anybody's listening and makes their little rooms and they use those little slides, that might be a good idea. There's barely any light coming off the table and it's just throwing it around. It looked like I was staring down a corridor. Cool, something to think about. Okay, so I'm gonna see what I can do with this. Maybe make some texture on this end here. So it looks like a little window, or it would be a big window in this case. Window into the engineering section, maybe. That'd be cool. All right, I'm gonna get it to fit in there first of all, and we'll see what I can make. Okay, here we are. I'm gonna end this one, guys. It's been going along, and I was doing some editing, and I was starting to get into the 55-minute mark, and I know that nobody wants to sit around watching this stuff for an hour. I find the half-hour time length is doing pretty good. I did get a lot of stuff done. This isn't on, it's just kind of sitting there. That looks pretty cool, shortened up like that. I like that. That's nice. Anyways, here's where we're at. I had another setback Only this time it wasn't with the model. It was with my recording. I was working away, doing lights on this, bunch of other things, and I noticed it wasn't recording, and I thought, you idiot, you didn't press the record button again. But no, my memory card ran out of space and it stopped recording. So I ended up losing at least a half hour, maybe more, of footage. Fortunately, it wasn't that interesting. I was just putting these lights in the saucer. But, you know, I was talking away and yammering on about stuff, being very witty and entertaining. So anyone who's into that, sorry about your luck. You're missing out. Maybe I can recreate some of those moments in my next video, which I already have a lot of footage for. So I decided to split this one into 2 parts. So I'm going to get this one finished. As always, thank you guys so much for coming along on this learning journey with me and the Excelsior refit. Come back for the next one. And we're starting to have a Starship, you guys. Appreciate all the support, all the comments. Any advice you can give is welcomed. And you'll see me, or at least my hands, in the next one.